Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Tonight on NJTV News, getting the trains back on track.
Lawmakers say they'll make it easier to hire more engineers to drive NJ Transit trains and ease the number of cancellations.
How do you reduce crime, save taxpayer money, and increase the quality of life? In Paterson, the answer might surprise you.
Plus, how are Camden kids taking the life lessons they're offered? They're jumping in feet first. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thank you for joining us. NJ Transit calls troubles with its underfunded, overburdened rail line operational challenges. Commuters have other terms to describe NJ Transit's chronic cancellations and delays. Today, lawmakers offered a partial solution, even as they called transit chiefs on the carpet. Senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan reports.
Lawmakers took a step towards easing hiring requirements for new engineers, but today chastised transportation officials for moving too slowly to fix looming crises like critical staff shortages and for failing to properly alert commuters about cancellations and interrupted service on NJ Transit trains.
You need to get ahead of the communications, not react to it. And if you're going to cancel something, be good to talk to people before you do it, not meet with them when they're already angry.
I feel a lot more like a firefighter than I do like a commissioner of transportation. We have one fire after another, and we keep trying to get them all under control.
Transit officials gave the same answers. It needs to take trains out of service to install the positive train control safety braking system, and that it's revised schedules and pushed contractors to make the December 31st federal deadline. And agency officials again told the Joint Transportation Committee the critical shortage of engineers remains the primary cause of unexpected cancellations. Republicans, who said little while the Christie administration starved the agency, complained.
It seems as if engineers, for whatever reason, call in and cancel, and that seems to contribute to the cancellation of trains despite this good working relationship. And I now understand that that is an issue that transit is going to look at.
I don't feel it's a job action or any of that kind of thing. I think it's a habit. Before, they were able to get away with that. If I didn't show or Diane didn't show, you knew someone was going to cover because there was always a bench. And what happened this summer, we got below that critical mass.
NJ Transit officials again explained it's suffering a net loss of 48 engineers since last year. It takes 291 engineers to staff the trains daily, and NJ Transit has 334 on board, and more will be retiring. 4 new classes are training now, but engineers require 20 months of education.
You have to be a lot more proactive. It just seems almost unconscionable with the type of salaries you're talking about that we're here bemoaning the fact that we can't get help. I mean, it's beyond scandalous.
A residency requirement restricts NJ Transit's ability to hire from outside the state. The agencies asked for a waiver, and the governor today urged Senate President Sweeney and Speaker Coughlin to swiftly send me standalone legislation permanently lifting residency requirements for mission-essential NJ Transit employees. Coughlin said in a statement, "We are committed to doing everything we can to help New Jersey commuters, including passing legislation to address the understaffing of NJ Transit." However, Sweeney said the Employee Residency Review Committee has the authority to waive residency requirements, and he urged the committee to exercise that authority immediately. Senator Kaine has sponsored a standalone bill.
If we had a broader pool of engineers who are already trained, we can actually meet the demands of that commuters need.
Meanwhile, the conductors union told lawmakers they are also critically understaffed by some 250 people and that their members are getting attacked by angry riders who blame them for bad service.
The passengers are the ones putting us in hospitals over their anger over the lack of service. I've had 2 female conductors physically thrown off trains by angry commuters.
There's one conclusion we reached today. We got to hire more workers. We got to get more engineers. We got to get more conductors.
Everybody agrees NJ Transit needs more engineers and fast. Getting them will apparently require more political negotiations. In Trenton, I'm Brenda Flanagan, NJTV News.
The cost of driving may be driven up. That tops tonight's business news. Rhonda Schaffler's away. Here with details on all the state's business is Joanna Gagas. Joanna?
Mary Alice, lawmakers are deciding whether to pump up the price of New Jersey's gas tax. Revenue reports show the current tax of 37.5 cents a gallon may not be enough to support the Transportation Trust Fund's repair of our roads and bridges. Now, an increase to 40 cents a gallon could go into effect October 1st. Those few cents may not feel like much to motorists, but it brings New Jersey's pump prices that much closer to New York and Pennsylvania, and that could deter motorists from waiting to fill up in the Garden State. Any change is likely to be announced by the end of August. New Jersey's unemployment rate has dropped to 4.2%, its lowest mark since July 2007, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. 13,000 jobs were created last month. Contributing to those numbers is strong private sector job growth, like the opening of 2 casinos in Atlantic City. New Brunswick aims to be completely reliant on clean energy by 2035. The City Council approved a plan that would hit mile markers along the way, 30% by 2020, 50% by 2024, and then 100% clean renewable energy use by 2035. New Brunswick could serve as a model for the state as it tries to reach the same goal by 2050. Over to East Brunswick, where city officials are asking for bids to turn 30 acres of vacant space along Route 18 into a mixed-use transit village. Now, that designation is given when a town revitalizes an area surrounding its transit hubs, and that's with buildings that serve more than one use, like shops, offices, and apartments, all on different levels. Mixed-use transit villages are eligible for state support, and with that, East Brunswick is planning a 3rd bus terminal along Route 18. The Essex County Schools of Technology District has joined with its county executive, Joe Dee, in bidding Wells Fargo goodbye. They have closed their accounts with the bank, citing predatory lending and aggressive foreclosure practices they say have hurt the residents in their community. On Wall Street, the stocks closed up, the Dow gaining nearly 400 points. And those are your top business stories.
The city of Paterson has relaunched a commission aimed at improving the quality of life by removing what collects on the streets. Brianna Venozzi has this report on Peril and Promise, the challenge of climate change.
You see it on litter-lined streets. Teams of trucks are deployed from DPW yards to collect it. But Paterson Mayor Andre Saya says community recycling numbers are way down, some 20% in just the last few years.
The Environmental Commission has been defunct, and as a result, you've seen a decline in cardboard, newspaper, and commingled recycling.
The effect is more wide-reaching than you might think, and that's why, with the support of City Council behind him, the mayor today reactivated the Paterson Environmental Commission.
Recycling has 2 benefits. 1, you reduce your tipping fee, so you pay less for your garbage to be collected. 2, you get paid more by the state for recycling more. So when you're removing recyclables out of what is considered garbage and recycling, you get paid and you save money as a result.
If you see a neighborhood that's filled with garbage in the street, it automatically becomes a magnet for, other types of crimes, whether it be prostitution, whether it be drug dealing. Those other crimes come to those areas that look unclean and unkept.
Those high-level crimes.
Everything.
Police Director Jerry Spezial calls it crime prevention through environmental design. Cleaner streets equal safer streets.
It starts at litter and it ends at a shooting.
Putting this in our households and putting this in our street will give the opportunity to the constituents to build our revenues, to bring forward more clean street, and to be part of the changes that we want in Paterson.
Mayor Saya created the commission in 2010 while serving as a council member. In its heyday, the group helped the city collect several thousand tons of newspaper, plastic, and commingled items each year. The commission will have 9 members, 7 appointed by Saya and 2 alternates by the council. They've already got a head start, recently purchasing 600 new recycle bins to give out to the community. So just what kind of savings will this mean for taxpayers?
It's considerable. We don't have an exact figure right now, but it is considerable. We're talking about how we have the potential to make millions.
Residents can find this recycling schedule in their mailbox or at any municipal office. It also runs through what can and cannot go into those blue bins. Now, in a city of roughly 140,000 plus residents, the mayor says that should equate to tons of recyclables and potentially tons of savings. In Patterson, Brianna Venozzi, NJTV News.
The CDC has issued a bleak new calculation of the nation's drug-related death toll, estimating more than 2,600 people died of drug overdoses in New Jersey last year. At the state's current pace, 2018 will be the 4th straight record-setting year for overdose deaths. In Morris County, the prosecutor's office enlisted a powerhouse speaker to share his experience. Michael Hill reports on help to combat New Jersey's drug addiction crisis.
Former Denver Broncos wide receiver and Trenton native Vance Johnson warned us.
You don't have enough film, brother. We're going to be talking all night.
To talk about his addiction, alcoholism, and abusing his body. He did so at Christ Church in Rockaway in a hold nothing back speech, starting with the abuse and violence he witnessed as a child. The Morris County Prosecutor's Office and partners hosted this opioid outreach program and hoped Johnson, with his Super Bowl rings, would deliver a message that resonates. The Broncos drafted Johnson in '85.
The newspapers say Broncos add Vance. The happiest day of my life. 1 million people got this newspaper. To this day, guys, I'm 21, almost 22 years old. I never drank, never did drugs, anything. I hated the thought of what drugs and alcohol did.
But Johnson began taking opioids to cope with pro football's injuries. When his fumble cost his team a game, he was introduced to alcohol, tequila.
And so then when I added those to alcohol, I was able to actually cope with all different types of things. And it felt good, it felt normal to me. And I was still competing at a real high level.
Johnson soon felt invincible, driving at 140 miles an hour, pulled over, recognized, and let go, crashing his car another day while high and drinking, then with the hospital's help, hidden away from the cops.
Why don't we push you down by the morgue where the dead people are?
Johnson says the addiction and alcoholism went on for years, with failed suicide attempts, several marriages, and 5 years ago, at the age of 50, a 28-day induced coma.
Everyone was saying their goodbyes. They said he's going to live, but he's probably going to die soon because everything's starting to shut down inside of his body.
Today and on his 8th marriage, Johnson spreads his message through his company, Vince Inspires, and the Florida-based Futures Recovery Healthcare.
It's all about getting out and inspiring people that hope is possible and change is there.
One assistant prosecutor gave startling statistics about the prevalence of opioid and heroin in Morris County, and even talked about how many deaths there were, overdose deaths last year. 80, 40 so far the first 6 months of this year.
This is clearly the leading cause of what I'll call preventable death.
Chief Assistant Prosecutor Bradford Seabury laid out the facts in graphics and graphic details. A 20-something pregnant woman's 40-pack-a-day heroin habit, where the arrests and seizures take place, and the ease of buying.
Just like you can order a pizza, you can have your heroin delivered.
Several providers say help is available and accessible, but the CEO of Daytop, New Jersey says he's found there's a barrier to treatment and recovery.
Far too few, not enough doctors that are educated, that can prescribe the medications that we know affect the brain in a way that will stop cravings.
The summit left an impression about addiction on 14-year-old Connor Doyle.
Just like how much it destroys your life.
I wanted him to see firsthand just how powerful this can be and how deadly it can be and how important it is to never even get curious and never even try it.
In Rockaway, Michael Hill, NJTV News.
Water quality issues top tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Seaside Heights, where for the first time in more than 20 years, swimming's banned today at every ocean beach due to what the mayor's called negative water quality tests. Not because of routine DEP tests, but rather, Mayor Anthony Vaz posted on the borough's Facebook page, due to either Monday's drenching rains or enormous numbers of seagulls drawn to bait fish near the beaches. Vaz says he expects the beaches to be reopened by Friday. Meantime, beach goers get free admission today and a get-in free coupon for later. Next to Atlantic City, observing the 50th anniversary of the Wedding of the Sea, celebrating the relationship between Atlantic City and the Atlantic Ocean. The festival is held each August on the Christian feast of the Assumption of Mary. A lifeguard boat rowed the Bishop of the Camden Diocese and the Mayor of Atlantic City out past the breakers to toss a wreath into the sea, just as the ancient Venetian doges did more than 1,000 years ago. St. Michael's Church adopted the tradition here in 1968. Finally, Jersey City, where the City Library's Greenville branch is being renamed in honor of Jersey Journal columnist Earl Morgan, whose career covering civil rights, government corruption, the rise of charter schools, and the struggles of residents fighting crime and poverty spanned the terms of at least 7 Jersey City mayors. The City Council approved the ordinance to honor a man called an astute, tenacious, and dedicated practitioner of the First Amendment. Earl Morgan died in June at the age of 75. And that's our Garden State Express for Thursday, August 16th. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off. Democrats hoping to take control of Congress in November's midterm election are eyeing 5 key congressional seats in New Jersey currently held by Republicans. How are Republicans fighting to keep those seats from flipping? State Republican Party Chair Doug Steinhardt joins Chief Political Correspondent Michael Aaron.
Mr. Chairman, Monmouth University came out with a poll this week that had Congressman Tom MacArthur leading his Democratic challenger Andy Kim by just 1 percentage point. Is that alarming?
No. Look, I think everyone respects Patrick Murray for his talents, for his service, but I think there's some elements of that poll that are a bit misleading. First of all, you have to take into consideration that 47%, the poll has 47%, MacArthur winning 47% of the vote in the Republican stronghold of Ocean County and winning by a 15-point margin. Now, you have to go back decades. In fact, I don't know that Republicans have ever performed that poorly in the Ocean County portion of that congressional district. Trump and Guadagno both lost statewide, but they both won that section of that congressional district by more than 63% of the vote. Second, the model to which you're referring, the one that has MacArthur at 41% and Kim at 40%, builds off of a voter base where I believe it was newly elected voters and people who have voted in an election since 2010. And Murray concludes that represents roughly 83% of the voting population down there. You have to go back decades to find a midterm election, where 83% of the people voted in that district.
Let's talk about the 7th Congressional District, Leonard Lance against Tom Malinowski. You took a shot at Malinowski this week over a 10-year-old incident at Human Rights Watch, where someone on his staff was collecting Nazi memorabilia, and you say that Malinowski didn't criticize him harshly enough?
I think you referred to him as
how is that relevant to this election?
Well, I think everybody's views are always relevant. I think you referred to him as a student of history, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Leonard Lance has a long history of voter service, of constituent service in that district. He's well respected. He's in tune with what his constituents ask for. So, you know, I think it's relevant when you're comparing candidate to candidate. And Leonard Lance has a long history of service to his constituents there in his congressional district.
Another district you're defending is 11, where Mikey Sherrill is the Democratic nominee. Assemblyman Jay Weber is your candidate running for Rodney Frelinghuysen's seat. How does that look?
I think it looks good. Look, Jay Weber has a long history of conservative service in that district. Mikey Sherrill is new to the scene. She comes across as just a rubber stamp for the Nancy Pelosi branch of the Democratic Party. But Jay's been in Trenton for a long time. He's got a strong voting record. And I think he's the kind of person that Washington needs to go and make sure that New Jersey's interests are being taken care of.
She's quite a phenomenon. She outraised him in the last reporting period by 12, 13 to 1. But she's a Nancy Pelosi Democrat, you say?
That's my take on the race. She seems to have aligned herself. Look, the way I think politics are in New Jersey these days, that liberal faction of the Democratic Party is forcing candidates to move further and further left. And that's exactly what she's doing. Jay gets to stay in his path, a path that he's established for a long time with his voting record in Trenton. He doesn't have to waver.
Is Donald Trump leading the country well?
Donald Trump is doing a good job. If you have to look at the economy in general, look, the stock market is at record highs. The gross domestic product growth is stronger than it's been in years. Wages are up, unemployment is down. That's a great record for anybody to run on in this country.
At the state level, Senate President Sweeney had a task force that made a whole raft of recommendations about reforming government. You weighed in on that. What do you think of the Sweeney Task Force recommendations?
Look, the task force was made up of 3 Republican senators, Adiago, Bucco, and Orojo, 2 Democratic senators, and they've essentially adopted what's been the Republican mantra for decades, which is government's too big. We need to get back to our common sense and fiscally responsible roots. That's exactly what that committee recommends.
You said in a press release that the Democrats now need to channel their inner Republican.
I did.
Are you endorsing that set of recommendations?
I am. I don't know that they go far enough, but we're absolutely endorsing that set of recommendations.
And who's the leader in Trenton from your vantage point? Who speaks for the Democrats in Trenton?
Who speaks for the Democrats?
I'm sorry, for the Republicans.
I'm not sure who's speaking for the Democrats right now. They have a great divide going on the Democratic side. We have a great group of Republican leaders. I'm happy to step in on the part of the NJGOP. Senator Kaine is doing a wonderful job on behalf of the Senate minority, and Assemblyman Bramnick is doing a good job on behalf of the Assembly minority.
State Republican Chairman Doug Steinhardt, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Some kids in Camden are getting a life-saving lesson with a dose of self-confidence on the side. Leah Mishkin reports.
Where does he live? In the water.
Aisha Atkinson is talking to her son Cairo about his day at the ZAC camp. He's been taking swimming lessons since he was a baby, but it's his first time participating in the 4-day water safety program, run in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Camden County.
It's really important for him to know how to swim, for him to learn water safety. A lot of kids, I work in a school district, and a lot of kids don't know how to swim, or they're afraid of water.
The ZAC camp is here in Camden for that exact reason.
All right, so what are some warning signs that you shouldn't go into a lake?
After some safety information, the kids jumped into the pool for swimming lessons.
I would say probably about 60% don't know how to swim. This is their first time in the water.
The ZAC Foundation started over a decade ago after a couple lost their 6-year-old son Zachary in an accident in their pool.
Zachary was actually a very accomplished swimmer. His arm became stuck in the pool drain and he drowned as a result of being pinned under the water.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says from 2005 to 2014, over 3,500 people died from unintentional drownings each year in the United States. That's about 10 people dying per day. And the CDC says 1 in 5 are children 14 and younger.
It was really important to us that we bring water safety and drowning prevention information into communities that really deeply needed it.
Disparities are also highlighted by the most recent CDC data, which looked at drownings between 1999 and 2010. According to the CDC, African American children ages 5 to 19 drown in swimming pools at rates 5.5 times higher than whites. Among 11 and 12-year-olds, that rate is 10 times higher.
I think oftentimes it has to do with the area in which they live, how many public pools are available to Black and African American communities, how easy is it for parents to transport their children to swimming lessons, how easy is it for them to afford swimming lessons. Swimming lessons are expensive. And then the biggest factor is really that generational fear.
Aisha Atkinson says she nearly drowned when she was 8 years old.
And I jumped in, and it was deeper than what I thought, and I panicked. And my mom is a person who doesn't know how to swim, and she couldn't save me. And somebody eventually came along and jumped in and pulled me out the water.
Her parents immediately enrolled her in swimming lessons so that would never happen to her again. That's why she made sure her son knows how to swim. The ZAC camp has given that same opportunity to nearly 15,000 children over the last decade. In Camden, Leah Mishkin, NJTV News.
And now some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. This year, the CDC predicts the number of overdose deaths in New Jersey will jump 21% over last year's toll. In 2016, New Jersey went from having the second lowest gas tax in the nation to the sixth highest. In 2014, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection documented nearly 13 million tons of solid waste recycled, and it takes 291 engineers to staff NJ Transit trains each and every day. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use hashtag KnowJersey. Tomorrow on NJTV News, budget breakdown, how and where the state's spending your tax dollars. To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Mary Alice Williams. For all the men and women of NJTV News, thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
The members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child. And PSE&G, we make things work for communities. Lead funding for Peril and Promise is provided by Dr. P. Roy Vagelos and Diana T. Vagelos. Major support is provided by the Mark Haas Foundation and Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III.